Come here. Let's make a pizza.
Alright guys, we're gonna make a very simple, easy peasy pizza dough. It's volume measurements. I will also have weighed measurements. But yeah, this is for someone that's just getting into making pizza at home. This also works to make bread. It's a great like Italian bread dough recipe. This is dedicated to the new name of my channel, Pizza for Two. This is a perfect recipe for pizza for two. So you're always going to start with your water. I got about 7/8 of a cup, but you can go ahead and if you don't feel comfortable, just throw a whole cup. It's about 200 milliliters of water. So just go ahead and throw that in your bowl. And then you're going to want to throw your yeast in. I got active dry yeast. It's about a half a teaspoon of active dry yeast. And then I'm also going to throw in my sugar. That's a half a tablespoon. Just going to throw both those in and give it a mix. I'm also going to throw in my olive oil. I have about a half a tablespoon of olive oil. You can use extra virgin, mild, whatever. Doesn't matter. Just mix it in there. Beautiful. Now I'm going to get my 1 cup measurement and I'm going to start with 1 cup of flour. Move this out of the way. Now how you measure, fill your cup a little more than all the way up. And you're going to skim across the top like so. So it's a pretty level cup. Not a giant heaping cup, but a nice level cup. You're not packing it down or anything. You're just going to throw that in your bowl. The total is going to be 2 cups of flour, but start with just 1. And this is a pan scraper. I'll have a link to this in the description, but you might have one around. You might have the spoon. If you don't have one of these, a spoon will work fine. You just want to mix everything up. It should make like a batter. Mix it pretty good. Make sure there's no dry flour, clumps, or anything like that. Beautiful. Now you can add your salt, which is about a teaspoon of salt. And you're going to grab another cup of flour, just like we did before, where you skim it off the top at the bottom of this bag here. You're just going to pop that in there. If you like it on the wetter side, just do a little bit at a time and keep mixing it. But you want to kind of get that, you want to mix this into a rough little dough here. You want to get a good bit done in the bowl if you can. It makes it a lot easier once you move to the table. Beautiful. So you can see, kind of shaggy, but there's not too much dry flour. It's okay if there's a little, not a ton of excess wild flour in the bowl. Put the bowl aside. Try to get off what's on here. What I'm doing is I'm focused on the partitions of this dough. So I'm going to start with the side farthest away from me right here. Just going to lightly press out and roll back. Press out and roll back. So I'm starting from the farthest and coming to me. And you might notice that it's sticky. That's okay. Try to go fast. Light but fast. For me, I can tell this is really sticky. So I might want to change the way I knead. So you can also grab more flour until it's a little stiffer that you might like. Do it little by little if you're going to go that way. I like, when I make a pizza at home, a little wetter, but not crazy. What you're going to want to do is just pick the dough up like that, smack it down and fold it over. That's called a slap and fold. That'll help you just get a couple of them. And if you see I'm getting flour all over my hands, it's sticky, it's okay, don't fret about it. You can always scoop some off with your pan scraper or your spoon. But a great trick when the dough is sticky, better than adding flour, which you see on a lot of cliche videos and stuff, is actually just wetting your hands a little bit. A wet dough won't stick to wet hands, so you can kind of go like that. You can knead it in. See, it's not sticking anymore. Turn it 90. There we go. And I'm just going to work it for about a minute. And keep this recipe real simple. So I'm slapping it, folding it over, coming in 90, doing it again. If it's wet, if it's nice and stiff, do the first method of going like this. But see, it's just sticky. So I'm going to slap it and fold it over. And that's all I want. I don't see any dry flour. Beautiful. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to grab that bowl, I'm just going to pop it on top. And I'm going to wait about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to come back to it. What you're doing is letting the dough relax. That lets the gluten relax, so it'll come together, it'll build some gluten in that time, and kneading will be a lot easier. If you want to go through with it, just knead it for about 10 minutes. But this is supposed to be a lazy, easy dough, so you just get it started to where you see no dry flour, and put a lid on it for 15 minutes. Alright, so I've waited a little bit. I'm ready to come back to this dough. So I'm going to wet my hands a little bit because I know it's sticky. And I'm going to do the same thing. And you can see it's already stretchier, it's smoother. A lot of people don't know what to do when the dough starts to get sticky. You can see what waiting did. It's already almost a dough. And now I just need to knead it for about 2 or 3 minutes, and it'll be beautiful. So I'm happy with that. That looks nice and smooth to me. So I'm going to pop that over there a little out of the way. Alright, so I got a little rest. One thing you're going to also want is what I call bench flour. This is about half bread flour, half semolina, but you can also use rice flour is great. Wheat bran, I'm sorry, is really good too. There's endless possibilities for bench flour. You can use just flour if you want to as well. You want to have that on hand. And the dough is ready to be divided and balled. So, this is pizza for two. You have two options. You can make a ball with this and make a pizza on a cookie sheet, a big one for two people, or you can divide it and ball it into two. And then you can make two small cookie sheet pizzas, You can make a round pizza, or 2 round pizzas, or one and the other. The possibilities are endless. So first thing you're going to do is just cut in half. Boom. Doesn't need to be perfect, you know. And that's top smooth side. Just put some bench flour on it so it's not so sticky. Flip it over. Make kind of a square or circle. And you're just going to fold into itself like that and keep going around just like that. Let me move that out of the way. And keep going in and then pinch it, turn it over, and what you want to do is build some tension there. So what I'm doing is I'm putting my fingers not all the way on the table but not to the top of the dough, like right in the middle at my 3 o'clock position, and I'm moving to 12 o'clock and pulling back in on itself like that, pinching it right there. So I'm doing that, and I'm building some tension. And look at that, you got a beautiful dough ball. And you can pop that in your Tupperware. You also can do it by hand. You're going to want a little bit of bench flour on your hands if the dough's wet. And you're going to make like a hot dog like that, and you're going to pinch in, turn it 90 degrees, pinch in, and keep doing that, and you'll end up making a dough ball just the same, just like that. But once again, if you want to see the other way, just throw some bench flour on top, turn it over, pinch in towards itself, fold in, then pinch, and just come around like I did before, building tension. It's okay to make it nice and stiff, but you can overwork it to the point where you start ripping it. If that happens, just cover it again, let it sit for about 10 minutes, and repeat the process a little more gently. And then just pop that in there. And then if you remember I said to save this, just dab it with some oil. This way, when you put wrap on it or something, in case it grows gigantically, you're not going to have it stick to the wrap. So you got 2 beautiful dough balls. And I'm just going to wrap each one. I'm going to leave them on the counter, and we're good to go. Alright guys, next comes time to getting your ingredients together for the pizza while your dough is rising. Got some Belgioso pearls. This is a good amount for 2 pizzas. Maybe 2 pizzas and a little snack for yourself. And then I just grabbed some Parmesan from the store, a little piece of the wheel. I like using real Parmesan, but you can use your Pecorino Romano, whatever you got. It's a little cheaper that way. And for the tomatoes, I grabbed this brand Gia Russa, but if you see that yellow and red stamp, which you can find right there, it means it's a real San Marzano tomato. You'll see DOP is what that's for. But if you can't find a DOP San Marzano or don't want to pay that much for them, they're a couple bucks more. Get an Italian peeled tomato. That's my favorite. California's really good. New Jersey's really good. Try different ones at your local store until you find the one that really suits you. And if you can see, this is 1 pound 12 ounces or 794 grams. I like doing a little less than 1% of its weight in salt. So for instance, I'm going to shoot for a teaspoon of salt, which is about 6 grams instead of almost 8 grams of salt I would use. So I'm going to open up my can. And I don't like wasting, so I know I'm only going to need maybe about 100 grams for the actual pizzas that I'm going to make. So I usually make all this sauce at once. You just pour that in there. Grab my salt. I recommend sea salt, but right now I'm just using this. It's fine. And I'm going to go for 1 teaspoon. Beautiful. And then the best way to do this, you could just use a blender, but I do like to do it by hand. It makes it so you still get some of that chunky goodness. You don't rip the seeds, which have a lot of flavor. You don't rip the tomato. And if you see yellow parts like this, that can go in your trash. That's another thing I like about doing it by hand, is you'll eventually see those pieces of tomato. Alright guys, so I'm about to get it set up and ready to make my pizza. First, the tools you're going to need to make your pizza, at the bare minimum, a cookie sheet and some oil to make your pizza on. Or, if you want to really step your pizza game up, you can get a pizza stone like this and a wooden pizza peel. This company, Lil Sun, is very good. But any kind of peel, you can make it on the table, slide it onto the peel, but I recommend starting with a wood peel if you're going to use a peel. Being a little bit on the generous side with your flour and semolina, or one or the other, to help it slide off of the peel. And yeah, you're also going to want a spoon for your sauce, a cutter to cut your pizzas. I use these little plastic flimsy cutting boards to cut my pizza on. And then I slide it onto a plate to eat it. That's why I like small pizzas, they usually fit on a plate. So, I'm going to put my stone on my bottom rack. Close my oven. And preheat to 550. Alright, so first, I'm going to start my pan pizza. My pan pizza is going to get a little bit of olive oil and rub it right in on the cookie sheet. Now this is not going to fill up the whole thing, but you'll still get the idea. Boom. Should be able to turn it upside down, grab it a little bit, and it should fall out. There we go. I'm just going to press it towards the outside. Pick up the corners, let gravity do a little, flip it. Press it again, let gravity do a little bit. Boom. And then there's a difference. So this was the side that was the smooth side on the top of the dough right there. If I was going to par bake it, I like to do it with this side up. But when I'm doing sauce, I do it the other way. So I just got it started. I made a little bit of a square here. I'm just pressing out. It's going a little more and more. I want it thin, but not crazy thin. I'm just going to put that aside. And what's going to happen is right now, since I just agitated it, it's going to want to come back to itself. So I'm going to let it rest for a little bit, and I'm going to come back. So I'm all set up. I'm all ready to go. I know that. I double checked my stuff. So let's give this one more quick flip. And you can see that's nice. It's coming back a little bit, but it's staying pretty good. Let's go. So yeah, I'm going to throw this in on the stone. but it cooks great on the middle rack or bottom rack. Just gonna do 1 spoonful of sauce, see how that looks. I don't want any crazy amount here, just a nice looking. Just want to get the whole thing all the way to the outside. See how much I got. Should have enough for the next pizza, so I'll do a little more. Doesn't look like a lot, but that's because I didn't use a blender. Once again. So for this guy, I'm going to use the second smallest one. Maybe even this guy. There we go, that looks pretty. Nice little helping of Parmesan on there. Beautiful, have that as a snack. Some mozzarella, not too much. I'm going to throw it in just like that. I'm going to set a timer for 4 minutes. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to spin it. Got a timer about to go off for me to spin it. Another 4 minutes gone by. Looks like it needs a little spin. Maybe about 2 more minutes. Alright, so in that time, I'm going to prep out my little area to cut it. Yeah, you're probably going to want a spatula of some kind, I mean a wooden spoon. When you're doing a pan pizza, it does help. Just get it off the pan. Beautiful. Look at that. So what I'm going to do, I realize that this rag is a little wet. See how it moves nice and easy because I put oil under it? I'm just going to pull it right onto there. So this is not sitting on any plastic. Oh, that's my timer. Let's see if you guys can see the bottom of that. Beautiful. Let's do something fancy. Boom. I don't even remember how I used to do this. Just do a cut like that. We'll finish it off with a little more of this. A little olive oil. Boom. Feels nice and crunchy. Got my plate, fits perfectly. I just go like this. Boom. Ready for the next one. I'll let that cool a little bit before I eat it. It has a little flop, but nothing too much. It's kind of white on the bottom, but when you cook on a pan, kind of what happens. It's got some color to it. It's really thin though. Not my best work. Honestly, this is meant for when you don't have a stone. I think having the stone kind of hurt me more than helped me when you have a pan on it. Now time to make a pizza on the Park. Out. Hey. Out. Good boy. Out. So you get your nice jiggly dough. Should drop out of there with a little shaking. There you go. Pop that in your flour. You want to make sure you flour your workspace. Beautiful. Flour both sides of the dough. You're going to want to make sure last call to get all your stuff easy to grab. This is where you got to be fast. So you're going to want to press the air out to the outside. Flip it over. Do it again. Then you're just going to flip it on your hand, drop it onto your other one, and keep doing that. Try to have your fingertips on the outside of the dough. And you can see it gets nice and nice. And you can pick up with your knuckles, go around. That's a nice height. I'm going to grab my pizza dough. Grab my peel, a little sprinkle of flour semolina, and I come back to me. Time for the sauce. This one a nice saucy one. There we go. This again. Beautiful. And some mozzarella. And a little bit of olive oil. Boom. Now this part's very important. You're going to want to make sure you get to shake like that. That way, pull that down and launch right there on your stone. Now for this, I'm going to give a timer 6 minutes. I'm going to spin it at the last second. Check the pizza, spin it. Look at that. So it's kind of soupy. There's a little bit of olive oil there. I'm going to let it sit for a second. But I mean, that's crispy. Some of that olive oil spread out. Real quick, let's see if I can show you the bottom. Boom. Don't want the cheese to go everywhere. Boom. Letting it sit on the peel for a minute, definitely the wood absorbs some of the moisture and everything, and it helps keep the pizza dry without getting soggy. And it also helps when you cut it so your cheese doesn't go all over the place. Don't want to do it too long, obviously. You gotta eat, but yeah. to our plate. A little bit of this. It definitely doesn't need any more olive oil. Not too bad. Let that cool down. Give it a try. Look at that. A lot of stuff on it, still not very much flop at all. I can already tell it's going to burn my mouth though. Let's see. That's yummy. I mean, for a quick dough like that, that's about the best it's gonna get. I mean, look at that bottom. That's perfect. So yeah, if you're cooking on a pan, don't worry about using a stone. If you're cooking on the stone, obviously you're not gonna worry about using a pan.